Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome to another session of Ginesys One. Today's session, we will discuss, as our title is saying, unlock retail success with Ginesys One's customer microservice. To discuss this session, we have our esteemed speaker and panelists. Let me introduce them. Mr. 𝐊𝐶𝐬 is a CTO Cloud POS at Ginesys One. Mr. 𝐂𝐮𝐬 𝐂𝐻𝐸, Product Analyst, Ginesys One. Mr. 𝐾𝐪𝙨 Associate Delivery Manager. So they will discuss today's webinar session. So thank you for joining today's webinar. All the speakers and panelists kindly continue with today's webinar session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining.
So the topic of today's webinar is Customers Microservice in Omnified POS, and the pointers that we will be covering today are like we will give an overview of the Customers Microservice and its features, basically how we can create customizable forms in it, how we can connect the customer forms to multiple sales channels, how we can manage customers in customer masters, and how we can manage the customer groups in that customer microservice. So starting with the overview of customer microservice. So basically, currently there are like many businesses which face this issue, like they have to maintain their separate customers for the like they are dealing with their customers on different channels, whether it is offline or online, and all the customers of offline and online channels they are managing separately. So we have enabled a customer service, separate customer service, where they can collect all the customers data of online and offline channels. Basically, it will be a centralized data store for them, which will consist of all the customers of online and offline, or multiple sales channels that they have created there in connected apps. So the key features of this customer repository will be customizable forms for dynamic data collection, single form, like they can connect forms with their apps in the connected app for omnified experience, and like customer masters and customer groups. Now moving to the customer forms. So basically the customer forms in this customer form feature, it allows users to create the customer forms as per their requirement. Like they currently what happens, like there is a hard-coded form. If we talk about the Zwing, there when the cashier opens up the create new customer form, there are some limited hard-coded fields that he needs to fill. But if someone wants to add on any field into that customer form, that option is not there. So with this feature here, we can create a separate form with any field that we want, and we can connect that form to that customer, connect that form with that sales channel, and that sales channel will show the form with all those required fields that we have made in the form. So let me move you to the let me give the demo of the same, like on the CRM here, where we can create the customer forms. So here in the settings, there is a customer form option, and with the create form button, here we can we see the form builder here. Here we need to enter the customer form name and the description. Now we can drag the fields from, like these are the predefined fields which with the label named saved fields, and there are two unique fields, email or phone number, which one of them is mandatory to be kept in the form. Like without keeping email and phone number, one of them, the form cannot be saved. So suppose I have dragged the phone number here. Now I am giving the first name, last name, and like now here on the another tab, create new, here we see the attributes, like what type of in the form, we can create the customized fields. So these are the attributes which we can use to create those customized fields. Like if we want to create a text box field, we need to just drag the text box here, and we can name it here, give the name to the field. And this is the option which allows the user to make it mandatory or optional field. If I check it, then it will be a mandatory field, and let's keep it optional as of now. Here is one more option here for the fields, like allow search in connected apps. So if someone selects this field, then it allows the user, it allows the cashier to search the customers on while tagging it to the bill with this specific field that we will see later in the web POS. So basically now we can give the description of the field. And save the changes here. Now there is one more option here, like we can manage the sequence of the fields here. The sequence we keep here in the form will the fields in the form will also be in that sequence only. Like we can move the last name with the first name option. Now clicking on save form button, this will save the form, and our last updated or last created form will be listed at the top. Now moving on to the next part, like once the form is created, now we can move on to the connected apps screen, like where we have created our different sales channels, whether it is offline or online. And here we need to connect that form that we have created. Like we can, if we have multiple forms, we can connect the form here. So basically this was the form, customer form demo, that we created currently. So this we need to just select this form here on customer onboarding form option and save the changes. Now, if I move on to the web POS, that Zwing POS, there we can see here the form that we have created will be fetched here. So talking about web POS, like here also we have made some changes. So basically so there was an issue, we cannot there were cases like when the customer forms are mandatory for the businesses, but sometimes what happens, like customer denies to give their details. So in that case, what happens, like cashier has to fill out all the mandatory fields in the forms and with the dummy data, and then start billing. So to fulfill that use case, we have entered the tag with dummy info button here. Like with the one click of this button, the customer with dummy data will be tagged here, and the customer can start billing by adding items here into the cart. Like cashier can start billing. Okay. Now moving on to the next change, like when we click on the tag customer button, so here basically this screen opens up where this is the searchable parameter that we were talking about previously. So for the text box field, I marked that is searchable option. I enabled that option, so we can search the customers with these fields. Now if I have to search the customer, I will select a parameter. I will enter the name of the customer, and I will select the customer. Now here are two options: add to bill and tax invoice. So basically, for the B2C invoice, user has to click on add to bill button, and to create a tax invoice, user has to click on the tax invoice button. So clicking on add to bill button will directly tag the customer to the bill, and cashier can add the items into the cart and start billing. Clicking on tax invoice button will open up the GSTN screen. Like these are the GSTNs that are already attached with this customer. So basically, if the user doesn't want to use any of the GSTNs that are already added, so user can create new GSTN for that customer. So like here we have to enter the legal name and the GSTN number, and which will, yeah, then we can just click, we need to just click on save and continue button to tag the customer. Now the customer is tagged successfully. Now moving back to the PPT. Yeah, so this we have covered. Now we can start with the customer master section. So for in customer master section, basically it would be it is a like centralized data store where like which will consist of all the customers with all the fields of the form that are there in the that we have created in all the forms. So it will be a centralized data store of all the consisting of customers of all the channels. So here we have options to like export the customers or add customers. Now we can add the customers with in two options, like there are new customer option and bulk import options. So if we click on new customer option, this would be the option when the user is manually creating a customer. So here we need to add the all the mandatory fields in the form and just click on save customer button. The customer will be created, and the created customer will be that we have created or updated. Talking about the bulk import part. So in bulk import part, here we have option to like download the sample CSV file. So this in this CSV file, basically there are like the first row, it shows the headers, like it shows the field names, that what are the fields that we need to enter the values for. And the second field shows here the which fields are optional and which field are mandatory. Like the fields where required is written, that these are the fields that are mandatory in the form. The third field shows the sample data that we have to fill, like in which format we have to fill the data for these fields. At last, like once we have filled all the data in the import template, we need to delete the second and third row. Like here we have written remove this line before import, sample data and optional and mandatory rows. And then we have to import the file. Once imported, the customers will be uploaded here in the customer master screen. Now moving on to the customers group part. So basically it is also similar to the customers group section that we were already managing in the Zwing console, but there is a slight change that in Zwing console there was option to add a customer to multiple groups, which is ideally not correct. Like a customer should only be in a single group at a time. So basically that we have revoked here, and now a customer can only be available in a single group. So the process of creating a new group is basically just click on new customer group, add the name of the customer group, add the description. And these are the group settings that we were already managing in the Zwing console customer group section. So we can manage these limits for all the customers that will be there in this group. So all these limits will apply to those customers. Once we have made all the we have configured all the limits, then we can like click on save group button. Sorry, this already exists. The customer groups get created successfully. Once the customer groups gets created successfully, this redirects us to the customer group details screen, where we will have the option to add the customers to this group. So now here also we have like multiple options. Like if we click on edit group, so we can edit these details that we have filled previously. It will lead us to the previous screen only. Clicking on add existing customer button will show us the list of all the customers that are there in the repository, customer repository as of now, and we can select the customers from this list and add these customers to this group. Like if I select this page here, so all the customers are selected here, and if I click on add to group button, so it gives us a pop-up message. It shows us that customer listed below will be removed from the current groups and added to the customer group one. So that like we have like given that option that a customer can only be in a single group at a time. So this is giving us a pop-up message that do we want to continue, these customers will be removed from their existing group and will be added to this group. Now clicking on continue button will add these selected customers to this group. Okay, now if we click on, now another option that we have is bulk import. So in bulk import also similarly we have download that sample file. We can download the sample file from this link, and this is also similar to that customer template that we use to create the customers from customer master. So we need to upload this file and we can directly create the customers and attach the customers to a single group at a time with this feature. So now similarly we have a bulk remove option also. Like we can remove the customers in bulk from, like if I select this page here, we can remove all the customers at once with this feature. So now if the customer was in this group, customers were in this group and I have removed from this groups, now there are basically two default, there is a basically default group in which the customers gets added with the creation. If we are not attaching, we are not adding it manually to any group. So now if I have removed all these customers from this group, the customers will automatically get added in the default group. The last option here is the delete group option. So basically this will delete the group that we have created. Yeah. Then at last we have the POS part. POS part is done, I guess. Okay. So let's start with the POS part. We will do a complete billing process here with tagging. Yeah, so here we get this list to search the customers. So if I search the customer with the phone number now, we can add the customer to the bill, add the items to the bill, to the cart, and simply if we click on checkout button, here we get multiple MOPs to fulfill the payments. If we select cash here, clicking on continue button will fulfill the complete the payment. If we click on print invoice button, here you can see the customer details will be available, the mobile number and cash. Now if we talk about the creating new form, new customer, clicking on tag customer, here we get options to add new customer or tag with dummy info. So clicking on add new customer, this was the form that we recently created in the customer forms and connected with our app Zwing POS. So here we can, these were the fields that we had added there. Now we can similarly enter the details here. So here we can add the sequence. Clicking on save and start billing will tag the customer here. Now, if we check this customer will be created in the customer repository itself, and it will be listed at the top of the list. This is the customer that we created now. So yeah, now if we can go on with the basic billing process now. Like clicking on checkout button will like allow users to complete the billing. On the web POS also, there is a customer's master screen. Here you can see, here also you can see all the customers data. So basically there are 3 fields here, 3 columns here: the name, phone number, and email. These are that will be displayed here. If like there can be scenarios where the name is not available in the form for any customer, because it is not mandatory field, then in that case the customer will see anonymous user written for that customer. Now we have here basic search option also to search the customers. Selecting a customer will open up the customer details screen. Here you can see all the GSTN numbers are listed here. We can add more GST numbers here. And at the right side here are the account details of that customers, like how much, what is the effective balance, what is the due store debit, what are the loyalty points that the customer has. So now here also we have given the options like pay balance. If any customer has some debit amount left that he wants to pay, he just needs to click on pay balance button and like select the debit note here and proceed to checkout. It will redirect to the payment screen, and he can simply pay the amount. Now clicking on back to customer will lead to the customer details screen. This is the edit information option. Like clicking on this will open up the form and the user can edit the details of the customer and update the details. Edit group will list down all the groups that are allowed for those whom the POS tagging is allowed. So, and if the customer selects one, it is single select checkbox. So selecting one group will remove it from the another group from which it is already tagged. Okay, and another option is loyalty customer. So it will basically open up the loyalty points that the customer has. A user can see here all the loyalty points. Like this customer has 259 points. At last, there is the store credit notes option, where here you can see there is a list of all the credit notes which user can redeem. If user needs to create new credit note, user can click on new credit note option. New credit note option will like open up this form where user can enter the amount and enter the date till which it is valid, and then simply click on continue button to pay for that credit note. Once paid, this credit note will be added for that customer. That's all from my side.
Thank you, all the speakers and panelists. Thank you.